Hey, AJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Man, could you just talk about your senior year? I know you kind of had to take over a quarterback. You guys had such a great season. You played a lot of different positions. Like, are you looking forward to focusing on one position in college, or did you just like doing that?
So my senior year was great because I had an opportunity to lead more, and our quarterback got hurt, so I had to step up. And when I'm needed the most, that's what I'm gonna do. Looking forward to college. I'm working on one position at the time, but wherever the coach needs me, that's where I'm gonna go.
Ira?
I know you talked about during your recruitment that some schools saw you as a DB, maybe some as a receiver. What was it about Florida State that got you to buy into them and stick with them through the whole process?
Florida State was the realest school I've been around. Everybody is gonna tell you what you want to hear. So that's part of recruiting. But coach has been real since day one. Since the day they've been recruiting me since a freshman, they've been real the whole way through, and that is what kept me with them.
Brendan, on your left?
And there was a change at wide receiver coach during the time of your commitment. Now that you're here getting to work with Coach Harris, what's that been like? What kind of relationship have you guys developed over the last year and change?
I love Dugans, and I also love Tim Harris. But Tim Harris, he seems the same. He's real. He's about the program, and he's gonna get us right.
Liam?
Following up on Coach Harris, actually, what he did last year with Deuce and Makai and some of those guys, I mean, what did you see, and do you kind of envision yourself in a role like that you can really take your game to the next level?
100%. Every time I've been to a game, I always look at progress. So, I've seen a lot of progress with some people, and Deuce and Makai Dancy are the two people I looked up to watching them play last year.
Brendan?
What are your thoughts about how the wide receivers are used in Coach Norvell's offense? And do they have a specific, is it like the 2 wide receiver, the 9, where they're gonna start you at?
I'm working at the 9 right now, but whatever we have to do during the season, if things have to change, I'll just step up where I have to be.
Back to Ira, on your right?
When you talk about the coaches being real during the process, like what told you that? Like what kind of things did they do or say, or how did they show you that?
It all started off when I had a meeting with Coach Norvell. So we had a meeting in his office on one of my visits, and he said, if you're not going to be the best you can off the field, don't come to Florida State. If you're not trying to be the best in the classroom, don't come to Florida State. And he also said, if you're not trying to be the best person you can as a boyfriend, a friend, a son, etc., don't come to Florida State. And that realness, it attracted me to come here.
Chris?
I know all wide receiver roles demand similar things, but at the 9, what are the specific things you have to be high quality at?
I'm not too sure right now, but just be the best we can be. Just learning right now. That's what I'm doing right now. Just working on myself and working on learning everything new.
Liam?
I know this first month is mostly conditioning and tour duty and stuff like that. And as a freshman coming in, we hear a lot about tour duty and how difficult it is. I mean, what has your experience been like with that? I see the smile. I mean, just how has that been for you?
I'll say first day, it was a little wishy-washy, hands been on my hips, hands been on my head, showing signs of weakness, but second day and on, I've been doing great. I also love to compete and love putting in work and the grind, that feeling of you can't walk anymore. I love that.
Brendan?
You mentioned watching Deuce and Makai last year. I guess how have those 2 guys been in terms of, I guess any of the veteran wide receivers, but those 2 specifically been in terms of getting you kind of acclimated and talking to you early on in your career here?
I'll say Danzy, I haven't seen him a lot. I've seen him ride past me on a scooter or whatever, but he makes it comfortable to be around. So his energy is great. Same with Deuce, he is the team leader. Just working behind him, learning from him, learning where I need to be, learning how I need to do things is great, and it makes everything much easier.
Matt, on your right?
We talked a lot about you playing different positions. Is there ever any conversations about you playing DB as well as wide receiver? I know you said you're working mainly at wide receiver right now.
I mean, wherever the coach wants me, that's where I'm gonna go. But I may have a talk with the DB coaches, but I'm just working on receiver right now.
Corey?
playing QB at such a high level this past year and playing a lot of games at quarterback, what did that do for your knowledge of the game and being a receiver and like what a quarterback is looking for in a receiver? Having that perspective of being the guy throwing the ball for a full year.
For sure, it put me in the perspective of knowing how the quarterback feels, especially like being rushed, hit, and all that things. Like what a quarterback goes through is real. Like it's painful. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of everything. But you know, it kind of slowed down the game for me. Like everywhere I went, you know, it made things much better of being the leader. And verbally, I was not always like the verbal guy, but you know, it helped me encourage my guys verbally and stepped up my gameplay.
Aswan?
You mentioned Deuce as a leader. Who are some other guys that are vocal leaders, and what's that message been from those players? Maybe even some coaches.
Quarterback Kevin, you know, he's one guy I've been watching. You know, I've seen him a few times, like during my recruitment, and he's another guy I look up to. I watched him when I was playing quarterback, so you know, that's the guy. He's a leader.
Ira?
You're not the biggest dude. You know, did teams try to out-physical you, try to get in your head by hitting you physically, and how'd you handle that coming up?
You're gonna get hit, so like I ain't never really cared about it. I kind of like to get hit, you know, or hit someone because that's gonna like shake out all the jitters and it's gonna get you right, you know. When you make that first contact, it's really gonna set you for the game, make you want to hit even more. So I'll say I didn't think too much about people hitting me late or anything, but the hitting, it comes with football.
Matt?
I think at one point in your recruitment, you said Gus Malzahn was one of your favorite coaches. Was that a surprise when he retired a couple weeks ago? And what have kind of been the differences between his offense and Mike Norvell's offense, since you kind of got recruited for both at one point?
I'll say it's been the same offense, but he's been recruiting me since freshman year when he was at UCF, and when he transferred here, honestly, it made the decision much easier. You know, he's a coach I can trust. He's a coach I thought that could give me the opportunity to get on that field early, and you know, seeing him leave, it was sad, but you know, life goes on.
Ira?
Are there receivers you growing up you watched that you really like, or guys you watch now that you kind of emulate or think are similar to you?
I wouldn't say similar, but I'll say Julio Jones. He's top 3 for sure. You know, he's just been that guy. I watched him play in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, the catches he's had. I watched this whole season actually, but you know, that Super Bowl game is a game I'll never forget.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, EJ.